Well, a few months ago I had to have brain surgery to remove a pretty good sized tumor. And then they stitched me up. They had to put a piece of metal in my head, so I'm part robot now. And then I had to go through a period of chemo and radiation. And now I'm in phase 2 of chemo. The radiation is over. But what happened is almost all the hair on this side of my head fell out. And so it looked kind of weird, like I couldn't decide who I was, and two people were living here or something. It just looked really strange. And Joanne says it's creepy. So I went ahead and I shaved my head for a while. And I just take out the razor that anyone else would have used on his face, and I used it on the rest of my head. And you've seen some of the pictures if you've been following this on Facebook at all. But there came a period of time, I kind of got sick of shaving my head, and I went 2 or 3 days without doing it. Joanne says, there's a lot of hair growing back now. She says, maybe I'm ready to start seeing you with hair. So you can see where I've got to now. Incidentally, when I run my hand over my head, it feels like I'm petting a cat. The missing ingredient is the tail. Just when you get to the end of the fur, there should be a tail there. For me, that probably wouldn't work. But in any case, what has happened is there is one spot where there's no hair growing, and that's over here. And it's where the surgery was done. I don't know if that's leftover figment of the radiation. I don't know if that's where the radiation hit the titanium that's in my head, and maybe it's lasted a little longer than the radiation that dissipated in my skull. But whatever the reason, this spot is bald. So I figured, well, I'll just grow a comb over. This hair will grow down. And then to my surprise, there was a narrow little strip of hair right along here. And I thought, well, I can grow that long and comb it straight up. And that maybe will cover the hole. So I've got this comb over thing going. And as you can see, it's going to take some time. But anyway, it started. And then to my surprise, some peach fuzz started growing in this bald spot. It kind of reminds me of the sort of beard I could grow when I was about 13 or 14 or 15 years old. I really wanted a beard at that age, and I would try, and it was the kind of thing where I would get my friends to stand. They'd say, yeah, if you just stand in the shadow and turn your head a certain way, I can kind of see that you have a mustache or that you have a beard. Well, my friends were kind to me in those days. But now that's happening on the side of my head, and my wife once in a while will say to me, well, if you stand just in a certain light, I can see that there's some hair in there. So anyway, I've got a race going. Who's going to win, the peach fuzz or the comb over? I don't know who it's going to be. But whichever happens first, I'm going to cover that bald spot. So I will let you know how it all comes out. But it is the comb over versus the peach fuzz. We're waiting to see who will win.